We're back.
Hey, what's
We're back.
up?
We did it again.
I watched White Man Can't Jump.
White men. Can't jump.
I can't. I watched it.
How was it, buddy?
I liked it. I had a hard time for a second. I had a hard time placing it between, the above average category and the great category. In my mind, that category breakdown.
Oh, so we already know it's a good movie then.
Yes.
So it's already off the top because it's a good movie.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was a good movie for sure. And the reason why I was gonna place it in the above average is because I highly enjoyed all of it. But the criticism of the movie is sometimes the writing, dialogue-wise, didn't make any sense.
Well, let's not go to the criticism first.
Right.
Let's go to the good stuff first.
Well, the good stuff.
Let's go to the good stuff.
I bring up the criticism because in the end, I ended up placing it in the great category because I was like, oh, why am I? The feeling of the movie when I watched it was like, this is amazing. The acting is unbelievable. That's what stands out.
And it's basketball.
Yeah, well, and it's like a sports movie, but there's no sports movie that's really like it.
And it's like sports is like third in importance in this movie.
Yeah, it's
love.
It's not all about the sport. You're right.
I would say probably with gambling, then the love story, then basketball.
Then basketball.
That's from watching it. If you like, well, I've also seen it a million times.
Yeah, because they established that he's good at basketball immediately. So it's not like
they established he's good at basketball. Like by the way he walks on the court in the beginning of the movie, you go, oh, this guy can play. You know what I mean? There's no doubt in your mind he can play before he shoots a ball.
Right. And but for me it was the acting. The three main characters.
For everyone, it's the acting. I don't think anyone watches this and goes, the basketball. You know what? I've never heard anyone say that about this movie.
Yeah, I mean, the basketball itself was whatever. It's
the storyline.
Yeah,
really.
A lot of two-on-two backdoor cuts.
A lot of crazy unnecessary passes.
Yeah, a lot of crazy unnecessary passes. Some weird layups.
Yeah. I told you the one off the backboard pass though was like crazy. Yeah, where he goes like bang and throws it, and it I was like, bro, Jesus.
Yeah, there's one when he's throwing the game though, when he does this crazy behind the head pass. There's a couple
where he's losing the game on purpose.
Yes, where Wesley's losing the game. Some of because he had open shots, but he would make these ridiculous passes. Yeah.
But Billy Ho was still knocking down them Jays, man.
Yeah, I mean he was the only one who wasn't fucking around that game, really.
Yeah, you're right. Well, the other dudes were trying to win.
Yeah. Well, the other dudes knew they were going to win.
They knew they were going to win.
Yeah.
They still had to win, though, because they were like, yo, this white boy can play.
This white boy can play.
This white boy can beat us. Also.
Yeah, at one point, they're like, oh, we know you're hustling. This white boy's good.
Oh, yeah, they did. They called it. They were like, fuck it. This dude. Because I think they also didn't know how good they hadn't seen him yet. So they probably were like, oh, this dude's fucking can ball.
Yeah. And I can't imagine they could run the hustle for long because the news of the white dude that could ball
in town. I mean, if you're hitting the courts at the realness that they're hitting it with real money on the line, yeah, that would spread around
real
a month,
quick.
2 months,
not even, maybe even more because they'd be like, yo, you see the white boy in Venice?
And they're hitting it every day.
Yeah, they're hitting it every day, and they're pretending not to know each other every day.
You can do that. You can run that scam a week tops.
Yeah, you could do it longer if you're both black.
Or if you're going out of town. If they're going to Brea and Irvine and
and all
how we're really getting
other pickup games in Brea and Irvine. You think Irvine has a great pickup game scene? All those nerdy Asian people.
You can get some. I'm sure you can run some niggas up for some money though.
Yeah,
for anything because people gamble.
Yeah, people gamble.
Let's get to the main point of this movie.
Even at the end of it, he was like, "I'll bet you one-on-one." It's like,
he said $20.
Yeah, did you not learn anything? You lost the hottest girl of all, ever.
Literally 2 sentences before this, you asked me for a job.
Yeah.
Can I get a job?
Yeah.
And you were like $20.
$20 on this one-on-one game. Did Rosie Perez teach you nothing?
Ooh. What did I hit? What did I miss? Because because this is a good movie. Every time we get into a good movie, we'll talk forever.
Yeah. I mean, just how hot Rosie Perez was. Yeah.
Titties, though.
Those titties were unbelievable.
Kanye West.
D's, motherfucker, D's.
You get that line now, baby.
Oh yeah. I really understand. Every time I saw her, I would just think of that Kanye line.
Woo. She was hot in that movie, baby.
Yeah, oh my God.
That accent, too.
The accent.
She's smart for some Jeopardy.
Jeopardy.
She's Jeopardy smart. She still does dumb things.
Yeah.
Going to the hood to get your money back. That could have gone so south.
That could have gone so wrong. And then being with this guy is pretty stupid.
Yeah, this guy makes bad money decisions.
Oh my God. You're against what assume is the mob, and you don't throw the game? Just because some guy gets in your head?
So you win?
Yeah. Loser.
Yeah, and we're not even talking about for the NBA Finals. We're talking about for a pickup game, dude.
Yeah,
pickup game.
When you owe debt already.
Yeah. Who lose it?
Just lose it.
The city of Cleveland's not on the line here, bro. You know what I mean? Lose it.
This is your girlfriend's life.
Yeah.
That you're playing with.
So that decision right there, you're right, because that's when the Straight Outta Compton mom is like,
it's your boyfriend.
Yeah, what do you do? From the first sentence, she was like, yo, you're cool, clearly.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, this guy is kind of a loser.
And holding you back.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he got you on Jeopardy.
He got you on Jeopardy, though. Isn't that crazy? That's how life really works, too.
Mm-hmm.
The guy holding you back is the reason you get
You get on Jeopardy.
Yeah,
that's how life works. You ever been on Jeopardy? Some dude you didn't like got you there.
Anything I missed?
Let's see. Not really. That's I
try to get real details with this one.
Because a lot of it is like, especially like the basketball scenes, it's mostly just like roasting and dialogue. It's like there's sort of overarching, like there's nothing you miss sort of overarching wise. You know what I mean? Because in between, like a lot of the basketball shots are really long.
Yeah, there's some real. They're playing.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's easy to describe the other things. You're not missing. It's not like the Breakfast Club where it's all like details and shit.
Yeah, we're extreme. Yeah.
No, it's like the Stookie brothers punched the guy, and that's kind of exactly what happens.
Yeah.
You know,
the real thing that you gotta see for this one, like you said, is the acting and the relationship between him and Woody Harrelson.
Yes,
that's the real where you watch it and you go, oh, this is why this movie's so good, because this relationship's crazy.
Well, I had no idea. This is only the second Wesley Snipes movie I've ever watched. We know how I feel about Blade. Didn't like it.
In case you didn't know, now you know.
Yeah, I didn't like Blade, but this made me look at Blade differently in the sense of like, oh shit, Wesley Snipes not only has range, but he's an unbelievable actor.
He was and it's like, oh, this guy was a movie star. Like you see this one, it's like, oh, you're a movie star.
Yeah,
like star. Like you know that quality of like, oh, leading man.
Yeah, like I watched this, and I think he's one of my favorite actors now.
Killed it in this, man. I mean, I love this movie, but and it's not like Goodfellas love it or Depart. It's like no. This is just a good movie, bro. And it's one of those movies whenever it's on, you can always watch it.
It's one of those. That's what I say. It's one of those afternoon movies. Your afternoon, Saturday afternoon, you have nothing to do at home. This is the
Cut a
White
Man Can't Jump.
Yeah,
you won't be disappointed anytime.
No,
it's always because you'll notice something in the relationship and the acting. God, it's just good acting. And we're talking about Woody Harrelson, who is one of the known best actors alive. And
Rosie Perez is unbelievable. But to me, it doesn't come close to what Wesley Snipes is doing. Yeah. Just Wesley Snipes is just so fucking this guy.
Yeah, he is that guy.
He is that guy.
He is Sidney Dean.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know what's funny?
What?
I also did because this is my two thoughts I kept on thinking while I was watching this movie. Damn, Wesley Snipes is a great actor. Every time I saw him, and then the other one is like, God damn, Woody Harrelson has had a great career. His career is, I mean,
nigga, from White Men Can't Jump to Hunger Games, like,
not
and
even
everything
that,
in between.
Started on Cheers.
Oh no, I was gonna say, I was just thinking the differences in those two roles.
The two roles. I mean, every role. I mean, just the
three billboards. Fucking got some movie Out of the Furnace. This movie he did with Christian Bale.
Wasn't he in Zombieland?
He's a bad guy. Zombieland.
Zombieland. He was great.
The range. I mean, every single character we've named is an absolutely different character.
Yeah. Just the range is unbelievable.
Unreal, man.
Unbelievable. And he's believable in every single one.
Yeah, and in this one, he's an idiot.
Yeah, he's an idiot. And you dislike him a lot of the time because he's making
dumb decisions.
And
then and then Sidney's a piece of shit too. And it's like, oh, it's a great. It's like I like that. He doesn't get the girl at the end.
No.
And you can't beat. Way to go, Hollywood! Like you used to fucking end movies like that sometimes.
Well, they still do, but that's what made it. It's such a unique movie in the sports world where they show the sport so much, but the sport is not really the focal point.
Not the focal point.
Yeah, and on top of that, he doesn't get the girl.
It's awesome. That's well done. That's well written.
And that's White Men Can't Jump.
Bam, 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 bam.
Oh. I don't know what it was. Is that a song?
That's supposed to be a dan. Bam, bam, bam. Sometimes my horn doesn't work.
That's what you're trying to do?
Yeah. No, my horn didn't work on the first one.
Okay. My bad. Yeah. Sometimes we need new horns here.
Yeah. Bam, 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 bam. Welcome back, beaners and Mexican people that watch the show. Welcome back.
Yeah.
San, we got another episode coming your way.
I'm excited.
You're the only person in the universe right now who doesn't know what it is. That's cool.
So we doing okay.
Hassan Jibrahim. What happens in the
oh my god
feature presentation?
Oh my god. Oh, just tell me.
The Cat in the Hat.
Really? This is the Mike Myers one? 2005? I remember the date it came out, the year, because there was a whole Neopets thing on it. I was big into Neopets back then. So the 2005 or 2006, around that time, film Cat in the Hat with Mike Myers. All right, it's probably like this deep look into institutional racism. No, I mean, I can't imagine it's much different than the books. You know, there's a couple kids, they're bored. And then the Cat in the Hat shows up in town, and they let the stranger into the house, even though they're probably told not to by the parents. And they have sort of strict parents, maybe, or like well-to-do parents. Mm-hmm. And then the Cat in the Hat adds some spice and flavor to life, but also fucks things up.
Okay.
But every time the parents come around, the Cat in the Hat disappears somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And then, you know.
What's the climax?
They're telling the Cat in the Hat no. They're trying to get him to stop. Thing 1 and Thing 2 are wreaking havoc. And they're able to get the Cat in the Hat to leave with Thing 1 and Thing 2. Or they get Thing 1 and Thing 2 to help them clean up the house, and they clean up the house before their parents get there. And then the cat brought some adventure into their lives. Into their usually regimented lives.
You know what?
Yes.
Most people who would guess a Cat in the Hat movie would guess that.
Yeah.
And most people would be right. But we're talking about a Mike Myers film, baby. So let's see where this really goes.
Okay, well, let me ask you a question before, straight up. I just want your opinion. So, is this one of those movies, in your opinion, to you, that was like sort of like, because I remember hearing about it a little bit as a kid and what people thought about it, but I don't really remember. Is it sort of like a Fast and the Furious type thing where if you go into it, like accepting it for what it is, you're like, this is going to be
Which
great.
era of Fast and the Furious?
Like the ones where they're jumping through buildings.
Okay.
Yeah.
The real era of Fast and Furious is like, well, that's actually a good movie.
Oh, no, I'm talking about where they're like jumping through skyscrapers.
Oh,
where you're like,
yeah.
I want to see them jump through skyscrapers. And you get it, and you're like, yeah. Or you're still going in with those expectations of it being whatever, and it's still bad. Like I watched The Meg recently with all the expectations of this giant shark film, and it was everything I expected and less. It was awful.
Okay. Well, I wouldn't compare this to either of those for sure.
Right. Okay.
At all. Have you seen The Grinch?
Yes.
With Jim Carrey?
Yes.
Live in that world, baby.
Okay.
When you saw that movie, did you expect to see the Grinch, nigga?
Right. No, but I'm saying sometimes even when you expect it, it's still bad. That's what The Meg was.
Oh, I'm saying, no, I'm asking you about the Grinch, though.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was a kid when I saw The Grinch in theaters, so I was like, yeah, it was what I expected, I guess.
There we go.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't compare it to
The Meg or Fast and Furious.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I can compare it to the Grinch.
Okay. Well, have more imagination, I guess. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can compare it to a movie in the same universe.
No, well, when I tell you this movie, you're gonna be like, oh yeah, that okay. You're like, yeah, that was not either of those two movies I said. I'm like, I know, buddy. It really wasn't. So, movie starts with a book logo.
Okay.
All right, like everything's the logo. Like it's the movie. It's like movie logo. It's like the logos and shit, but they're like books.
Okay.
It looks like the Cat in the Hat books.
Okay. It looks like
Right?
a Dr. Seuss book.
Yeah. Cheery music. The Universal logo is out of a book. That looks really cool. And then a nigga says, there are a gajillion of stories of mischief and fun. But to keep it simple, let's start with just one.
Ooh, good little
Let's
rhyme.
start with two kids and a hat that was oddly enough worn by a cat. This is about to be fun, guys. We're about to have a good time tonight. We're about to have a good fucking time.
I know,
tonight.
you're like, I'm like, I feel like you're leading me.
Oh, me and Sam had a great time this morning. So that's why I was like, oh, this is about to be fun.
Okay.
If you come in for fun. Like you said, come in with the
fun?
fast. We're about to jump through buildings,
Okay,
baby.
all right.
If
There we
that's where you
go.
need to go, let's go there.
Let's do this.
We're about to have a good time.
Let's go, Vin.
I'm rhyming right now.
Oh, yeah, that's true, you are.
Okay. The Cat in the Hat. Boom, all right? But soon enough, we'll get to all that. A bunch of more rhyming. I couldn't. I mean, guys, I can't keep all that.
Yeah.
All right. They show us the city of Anvil. All right. While the narrator, he's rhyming. And the city looks like a motherfucking cartoon world, nigga. It's just
So it looks like a cartoon.
straight out the book, baby. But people,
great.
though. So it's like not animation.
Right.
It's like these are real props. So it's like,
Right.
it's so crazy.
Right. It looks insane.
It looks fucking insane.
Yeah,
dude.
'cause
They
this
spent
is-
so much on this world.
Yeah, and this isn't at the time where you can make the computers to make it look 100%.
They
Yeah,
could have did it. 2005 or 6. They could have for sure did that. They said no.
Okay.
We're building this out of wood.
Okay.
Yo, the crazy the colors
All
are
right, insane.
insanity, dude.
All right.
All right. So everything is like, you know, it's just like all the people look like Whoville, kind of weird people, but they're people looking, right? Like it's like a mix of that.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, just everything looks like that. Just that Whoville universe.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I know exactly what you're
You
talking
know
about.
what I mean? And like all the stores are like fish store, hammer store.
And they're all like weird and
Yeah,
like,
one
tilted.
of them, bro, it was just straight up a sailboat store.
That's funny.
That was funny. I was like, yeah, my nigga, what? A sailboat store? So it ends on a Humberfludes real estate. All right? That's where it says. And that's where our story takes place. That's what the narrator says. And we see a mailman like walking in. He's delivering mail to this place. And we meet our lead woman, all right? And she's white. And then she's on the phone. And then she's going, babysitters don't leave. They sit. Baby leavers leave, right? She's yelling.
Ooh, lame.
And then you hear like the babysitter go, "Rah, rah, rah," like, you know,
Right.
And then she's like, oh, well, you know, don't go, blah blah blah. And then the babysitter's like, oh, I'm sorry, I just can't work with your kids anymore. I gotta go. It's too much. You know?
No, they're mischievous.
Yeah.
Mm.
And she's like, all right, I'll come home right away then. And then right then, a nigga in a bright green suit, like a bright green suit. All right, he comes up. And he annoyingly, like, this dude, you can just tell he's like supposed to be an annoying motherfucker, right? And he's like, staff meeting, right? Like, yells it. So all the employees are washing their hands, right? And a big sign on the room says, employees must wash hands constantly. Bro. Okay.
Okay.
All the employees are just washing their hands. So everybody stops washing their hands and they run up to him, right? And then the boss goes, I want to introduce our new employee to everybody. And he says this guy's name. And like while he has his hand out, the guy shakes the boss's hand. And everybody goes, oh! And then the weird guy goes, fired. And the guy goes, what? Fired! And he's like, fired! Right? He's like weird shots of him yelling. Right? And then the guy like sprays enough hand sanitizer on his hand to like cover his hand in ooze. It's just like that much hand sanitizer, right? And he hand sanitizes his hand, right? And he's just like, and he's weird as shit. This weird dude. And then he announces that there's going to be a party tonight at Joan Waldron's house, or whatever her name is, Joan Waldron's house. And she's going to be hosting. And then he looks at her and he expects the party to be run perfectly smooth, and he expects the house to be extremely clean. Like, and like,
Jesus, just like an awful boss.
Yeah, he talks about how clean the house is supposed to be. Right, going off about cleanliness. And then he says, "And your house better not be as messy as last time."
Have it at a different place.
Right. And then
right? What the fuck?
And then he says,
"Have it at your place, weirdo. You can keep it clean."
Yeah, because he said, she said something how she has to get home to her children. She's, I need to leave right now to go home to my children. He goes, your children. And then he's like, don't let your children mess up the house and get it all messy like last time. And then he's like, or you'll be fired! He's just yelling in her face, right? Which I think is funny. This guy sucks. So
very clearly.
Yeah. She was like, I promise my kids will be on their best behavior, right? And then the camera cuts to like a picture of her kids, okay?
Yeah. Ooh.
So you leave the Humberfludes, and this is the narrator. He goes, you leave the Humberfludes, and you turn left on Main, more rhyming, where neighbors greet neighbors with a neighborly hey. Lawns were mowed daily, twice daily if needed. That was the best joke, one of my favorite jokes. Lawns were mowed daily, twice daily if needed.
Like some days the grass doesn't grow as quick.
I don't know.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's a very subtle joke.
Yeah. More rhyming. But he said, but on this day, something magical would happen to a sister and a brother. Right? And we go into a house through a peephole and a little dog, like a little itty bitty chihuahua dog. He's barking up the stairs. And then we see big fuzzy feet hit the ground, right? Camera pans up and it's just a boy in big pajama feet. Okay. And he's like, be quiet to the dog, right? And then you would recognize the little boy from shit. He's been in a bunch of shit.
So he's like
can't remember who he is, but yeah, you recognize him.
Is he still like acting and shit? Is he still like acting and shit?
I don't know. He ain't that recognizable.
Okay. So he was in like a couple of kids' movies in the eras.
That's what I'm saying. You recognize him from shit like that.
Okay.
And then they cut to the little girl who is Dakota Fanning.
Really?
Dakota Fanning is back in our lives, baby.
We're going back to Dakota again?
We're going back to Dakota.
Why? Why?
I didn't know she was in this.
Oh, you didn't?
Oh, it was a great surprise for me. I mean, I knew, but it was like, I didn't remember that Dakota Fanning was in this. I was just like, oh, Cat in the Hat. And then, oh, shit, Dakota Fanning's in this.
Oh, wow. Okay, so there is a big name in this besides Mike Myers.
Yeah.
I'm excited. This is exciting.
So...
Crazy! Is that what
Crazy!
You and
this movie ends really dark.
Yeah, and then he comes in.
And
he just murders the cat in the hat.
Well, the cat comes back and murders
the
narrator, who is Love Voice. Calls the bear Creasy Bear. All right.
Puts thing 1 and thing 2 in his ass.
Yeah, he does. He puts thing 1 and she had more things. We could riff on that forever.
I know we could.
Cat in the Hat, Man on Fire.
Cat on fire.
Cat on fire.
Cat on fire.
So the little boy is being bad, right? And the little, like, he's just doing a bunch of shit. He's running around grabbing a bunch of shit, just like putting together his outfit. The little girl is making a to-do list. Okay. And she's very organized. She's pretty much doing the same character as Peeta, which is funny. You know, she's like number 4 on the list is like be spontaneous. You know what I mean? Like little, she's saying like weird shit like that. And then she hears her brother do a bunch of shit in the kitchen, and then he runs upstairs. And they pan back on the little boy, and he's like covered in like popcorn bags and like hot dog buns and shit. And then he announces himself like a stuntman.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna do something crazy down the stairs.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then the little girl comes over to watch, and he's like, and now for indoor stair luge. And he's like, it's showtime. And then he slides down the stairs, like with all this shit.
Trashes the house.
Trashing the house, right? And then right then the mom opens the door, and then he knocks all the groceries out of her hand, and she like kind of falls back. And then he goes sliding right outside, and bam, smashes into the car, right? You know what I mean? And then the dog runs away. You know what I'm saying? Right then. And then he pops up, and he's like, hey, Mom, what's up? You know, the mom's like, oh,
you rascal.
My son.
I'm white.
Yeah, I'm a white lady.
Yeah.
So he goes, hey, Mom, I know you're angry. He runs up to her because she's like pissed at him. He goes, hey, Mom, I know you're angry at me, but this is all Sally's fault. All right. And then she goes, yeah, how? And he goes, give me a second. I'm working on it.
Nice. Nice.
Not bad.
Nice.
The little sister says how she remembered that the mom had clients coming over because she listens, and then he still and then Conrad still wrecked the house and let the dog get away, like being a snitch.
Right.
And then she goes out loud, and I hope he shall be grounded for these punishments or something like that, you know?
Right.
And then he was like, he will, Sally, for a week. And she goes, you know? And then he goes, oh, Mom, come on. And then she's like, yeah, and then so they keep talking. And then she goes, Conrad, you had one job, keep the house clean. That was the one job you had, blah, blah, blah. And then you hear knock, 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 right? In walks Alec Baldwin. We're not done, baby, with Poppins. Yeah, what did you think? We're done. He goes, I got the dog. Right?
He's the dad?
No.
Is he the guy fucking the mom?
No. So he goes, I got the dog. He just already seems off. You're like, I don't trust this guy.
Right. Okay.
You know
He's a
I
bad
mean?
guy.
There you go.
He's a bad guy. Okay.
So they you can tell the little boy doesn't like him.
Right.
He doesn't like, but Dakota does. She's like, oh, blah blah blah, Mister whatever. And then he looks at the little boy, and he's like, why don't you go tidy up the living room, sport? And he's like, I don't have to listen to you, Larry. And then you can just see that they're beefing.
Right.
And then Alec talks to the mom immediately about sending him to military boarding school.
Okay.
Right? And then she's like, oh, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, Joan, I have so much respect for you. You're a single mother, raising 2 children, still the greatest real estate agent in the business, And then she's like looking at him, like falling all over him. And then he as she's about to kiss him, and then he goes, but it's still enough time to send your kid to boarding school. And then like he shows her like all the packages that and it's like kids like doing push-ups and like all this like horrible shit. You know what I mean? And then he says, and the beauty of it, the school is only 8 hours away. And then she's like, and then right when she's like kind of considering it for a second, the phone rings. She's like, I have to answer the phone. And then right then the little kid comes in. He's like, I heard what you said, Larry.
Yeah. Is he a dean at this boarding school? What the fuck?
No, he's just a piece of shit.
He's just a piece of shit.
So he goes, I'm not going to military school, Larry. And then he goes, here's the thing, son. I don't like you either. And if it were up to me, you'd be at that military school today or some shit like that. And then he tells him how awful it's going to be. You're going to be doing push-ups and this and that. You're not going to see anybody.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
I wouldn't let a guy who I'm not fucking yet, who she wants to, but I'm not going to let a guy I'm not fucking yet talk to my kids like that.
She doesn't know.
Oh, yeah, huh? She's in the other room.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind.
It's a movie. I like how you jumped to a real movie.
Yeah. The fuck?
This movie got real dark.
Yeah, the fuck? You fucking let someone talk to your kids like that?
In front of you. But no. He's not around, so this is fine.
Yeah. This is life. This is actually life. This is the most realistic part of the movie, I think.
So, Alec, he's talking shit to the kid. Mm-hmm. Right when the mom comes back in, he picks him up and like, oh, I love you, and like pretending to love him and all that shit.
Right.
And then
because he's trying to get some.
Who isn't, man? She can get it. So right then she says, "Oh man, you guys are so great together." And then she asks him if he will help her like move some stuff from the basement. And then he goes, "Ooh, I'm sorry, I gotta go to work." Blah blah blah. And he's clearly lying.
Right.
Like he clearly doesn't have anywhere to go. And so
well, he's not doing it. You know,
yeah.
if you're trying to get in, you gotta do the labor, man.
No, he's a piece of shit, bro.
Oh yeah,
and
clearly.
then he clearly runs outside, and the colors are just so ridiculous in this movie. Like, I can't wait for you to see this. Dear God, they're so crazy. So the kid goes, "Mom, that guy's a phony," right? And she goes, "Oh, hush," right? And then the caterer comes in, and then the mom is setting up, trying to get the party ready for the night, while the kids keep complaining, and then she's just telling everybody, hush, hush, and right then the phone rings, and she's like, "Hush," and then the phone's quiet for a second. And then the phone rings again.
That's funny.
And then she answers it. Mm-hmm. And then her boss is like, "I need you to come back in for a couple hours." And then she's like, okay, And
Yeah,
he hangs up.
She's a shit boss.
Yeah. And then she is like, I know what I'll do. And then she's like, "I'll call Miss Kwan." And the kids are like, "No, not Miss Kwan." And then right then this really fat Asian lady comes over. It's the Asian lady from Next Friday. You've never seen any of the Fridays, but that's who she is. To me, she's always just a big fat Asian lady from Next Friday.
Okay.
Her character's ridiculous in that.
All right. As opposed to this, where it's straightforward and gritty.
No.
Yeah.
Next Friday, you're going to be like, it's not what I just heard. She's not playing this.
Okay. Okay.
So she comes over and she's like very dismissive and kind of mean. And then the mom says how Conrad is grounded, but if Sally wants to go to her friend's house, she's like, "I'll still drop you off, honey." And then the Sally girl's like, "No, I don't want to go to that friend's house." She's like, "She did this to me and I don't like her anymore." She's like, "Oh, what about your friend Denise?" And she's like, "I don't talk to Denise. Denise didn't take orders from me one time and I didn't like that." And she's like, what did we talk to? She's like, "Well, honey, Sally, didn't we talk to you? Didn't we have a discussion about bossiness?" And she was like, "We did, mother, and I won't tolerate it." Got me. So the mom is like, right then she's like, "All right, well, here's all the rules, blah, blah, blah." And she gives all the rules, but they're just for Conrad.
Right.
And then the daughter goes, "Mom, can I have some rules?" And then she goes, "No chewing tobacco." And she says, "I'll try." Absolutely. And then she goes, "Oh, and absolutely no going in the living room." And then the little boy goes, "Or what? You're going to send me to military school?" And she goes, "I just wish I could trust you, Conrad." And he goes, "Yeah, well, I wish I had a different mom." And she goes, "Well, I wish the same thing sometimes." And then they do the separation, and then she closes the door, and then she's like, she regrets it, obviously.
Yeah.
And then right then she's like, she's late for work, and she has to go. Okay.
Yeah.
She looks over, and Alec Baldwin is like pretending like he's leaving for work too, and then he watches her back out, and he leaves, and then he just runs back in the house. Okay, like in his house.
Yeah.
So
because he's an unemployed loser.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
So Miss Kwan tells the kids to come watch TV with her. All right. She cuts on. She's like, "Who you guys want to watch Chinese Parliament?" And they're like, "Oh no, we don't want to watch Chinese Parliament, Miss Kwan." It's the name of the show, Chinese Parliament.
The Chinese have made it here? The Chinese have made it into Dr. Seuss world?
They got in this one.
God, there's so much more advanced than this. We used to be a superpower. What happened to us?
Bro, in 2005, this happened.
Yeah, man. The writing was on the wall for us.
Dude.
Yeah, we didn't even make it to Seussland. That wasn't American Congress. This was Chinese fucking Parliament. Yeah.
So she cuts on the TV for the Chinese Parliament show. Mm-hmm. And it is just Chinese government officials in like what looks like where they would have like a UN meeting.
Yeah.
And they're all just like fighting in like that goofy way. Those goofy Asian shows where motherfuckers fall off. Boing!
Yeah.
It's like that.
Okay.
But they're like hitting each other.
I would watch that.
And then Miss Kwan's going, "Yeah, no more big Chinese government." That's what she's saying. Dude. This is in the movie. So the kids walk to the window, and then as they do that, Miss Kwan, she passes out and falls asleep.
Yeah, I'm sure that's satire about something.
I don't know what.
Yeah.
So they slumped in their chairs, glum to complain, and to make matters worse, it started to rain. Always does, bro.
Yeah.
Oh, fun. No fun to have, no games to play, hoping that anything might happen today. The little boy is flicking the fishbowl, right? And then she's like, "Quit bothering the fish."
Fish. I forgot the fish. Mm-hmm. I like the fish.
They start fighting. Her and the little girl start fighting, right? And then right then, something went bump. Oh, how that bump made them jump. They heard their heart their heartbeats rattling. They hear shit rattling in the closet, and it's like rattling like crazy. So the little boy, he opens the door, and then he gets yanked in, right? And then she's like, Conrad! And then it's quiet, and then he throws a teddy bear at her. She's like, ah! And then he jumps out, and she's like, oh, and then she's like, oh man, he's like, you look like you saw what? And then he looks up, he's like, a monster! And they scream, and it's the Cat in the Hat, baby.
In the closet?
No, he's outside.
He's outside. Okay.
You know, and it's Mike Myers, clearly.
Right.
In a big ass cat outfit, my nigga.
Yeah,
Right?
I vaguely remember this cat outfit.
Yeah,
It's hard to forget.
It is the most ridiculous thing. And it's also, I mean, it's just the Grinch outfit. Like they took the same vibe.
Yeah, like that sort of like frizzy, crazy hair.
Your beard.
Kind of like my beard. Like it's my beard, but
Wrapped around a body.
A cat.
Yeah, literally.
If my beard was a cat.
Your beard was a whole cat that
Yeah.
had magical powers.
Yeah. Halfway there.
So they stare and they scream they're like, oh my God, and then the cat goes, that could have gone better. And then he's like, what was that? And then the little boy's like, it looked like a humongous cat. And then he's like, I prefer big bone to a jolly, right? And then he's like, what are we hiding from now? And then they're like, they run off again. And then they're like, they hide under a bed and they're like, that was a giant cat. And then he's under the bed with him, and he was like, I like this hiding place. And then they stare at him, and then he's like, scream and run. And then they go, and then they scream and run. And then he goes, who are you? And he goes, I'm the Cat in the Hat. And he starts doing like a rhyme, but he can't finish it.
Right.
And he's like, I got nothing. And he goes, I'm not really good with the rhyming. Not really. He's like, but look, I'm a cat that can talk. Isn't that enough for you people? He's like, what do you want from me? Like, you know what I mean? And then he walks off, bro. His walk, the whole movie is my favorite thing. He walks like this everywhere he goes, and it's so funny to me. It's such a funny way to walk, bro. And it's like he's just crazy as hell. Mike Myers just being a nutcase, dude.
Right. Just being like the Riddler, just over the top.
Nigga, yeah, straight up Austin Powers levels. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Just like, yeah, just this dude's nuts. You know?
Right.
So,
that dude, Mike has so much energy.
so much energy.
Yeah.
So he's like, I've been here 2 minutes. No one's gonna offer me a drink. And then they're like, oh, sorry, Mr. Cat. Would you like some milk? And he's like, oh no, I'm lactose intolerant. They'll do something crazy to me. And then he sees a picture of their mom on the desk, and he's like, humana. And then his big hat gets a boner.
Oh, wow.
And then he's like,
Oh, wow.
yeah, and they go, that's our mom. And he goes, it's like, this is awkward.
Yeah, what if the hat got bigger? Even bigger? That would be, like, I mean, at that point, you're
Like
making
the top
it.
blew off.
Yeah. You're making a boner joke.
Yeah, go for it.
Go for it.
So
Yeah.
he steals. So he's talking about like how the kids are gonna have fun, blah, blah, and as he's doing this, he's stealing the mom's picture and like putting it in his outfit.
Yeah.
And then he's commenting on the house, and then he's
Jerk off to later. That's so fucking weird.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And then he jumps on the babysitter for a while, right? He's just jumping on her. And he's like, who is this? And they're like, that's our babysitter. He's like, you guys don't need one of those. He goes, you pay this woman to sit on babies? That's disgusting. And then he puts a hanger on her and then hangs this bitch in the closet.
Okay.
All right. And then he goes, I got to look at something. And he hooks them up to the funnel meter. And then he puts it on Sally, and her says that she's a serial arsonist. And then he looks at it and he taps it, and then it goes that she's a control freak.
Okay.
And he's like, oh, okay.
That makes
sense.
yeah, that's funny.
And then he puts it on the little boy, and then it says he's a bad kid. Like he's a mischief, like rule breaker.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so,
Miscreant.
and a bedwetter, and then and like a bedwetter, and then he's like, tap it again. He's like, hey kid, I can tap it with a hammer. It ain't gonna change it. Bro, this nigga made me laugh like 20 times this morning. So he goes, just as I suspected, you're both out of whack. And there's two things we can do about that. And they go, what are the two things? And he goes, well, one involves a bunch of painful shots. And he holds up a bunch of needles. And they're like, and then he goes, and one involves a musical number. And then Dakota Fanning goes, how many shots? And he's like, aren't you precious? And then he hits a button on his hat and a CD thing comes out, and he puts a CD in his hat, and he's like, Maestro. And he's like, I know it's wet and the sun is not sunny. But we gotta have lots of good fun. That is funny. He's singing a crazy song.
What the fuck is happening?
And he coughs up a hairball. Mm-hmm. And he goes, I know lots of good tricks. And he's about to start doing them. And then somebody goes, stop it right now. And the music stops. And then the fish is talking.
Yes.
All right.
Love
and the
fucking
fish says,
the fish is my favorite part of the books.
Always,
Fish is
bro.
the best part.
It's
Yeah.
funny. Fish says how that cat shouldn't be here, and he's doing the rhyme about how the cat shouldn't be here and all these things.
Right.
And then he's like, come on, kids, don't listen to him. He drinks where he pees.
It's a good plan. Ooh, that is a good argument.
And then he turns into like a salsa dancing woman.
Yeah.
And then the music gets all like salty. And then he sings a song about how he had to get his balls cut off, his cat balls, right? And how he can't have fun, but you can have fun, but you can't have fun without you in the middle. That's the name of the song. The song's crazy, bro.
All right. Crazy. Also, way more sexual already than I thought it would be.
This movie gets the
Yeah, you can't have his balls, so I can't have fun.
I get it.
I mean, I get it, but my God.
Vasectomies, bro.
Yeah, I was just when you said Cat in the Hat, this is way different than already what I'm expecting for sure. But did not expect balls to be mentioned at all, really, except maybe getting hit in them, but not like having them removed.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah. Also, this is way worse than a vasectomy. You said vasectomy, and I was like, that's
Yeah, you can still have fun.
Yeah, they don't cut your balls off or whatever the fuck.
So he keeps singing and he's like doing the thing where he's like balancing all the shit on himself, or he's like on a ball while they're throwing more things at him and he's balancing all this stuff. And he's like, fun, fun, fun. I'm as clappy as a clam and as fit as a fiddle. And he accidentally drinks milk and he goes, oh no, big mistake. And his stomach gets all big. And he's like, I knew that milk would come back to haunt me. And then he burps like crazy and he falls down and all the stuff goes flying in the air. And then he lands and then he catches all the shit like really cool.
Right.
And he's like, with you in the middle. And then the fish goes off more. And the kids are like, man, that was so cool. And they're freaking out. And the cat goes, well, I guess I should get going. And they're like, no, don't go, Mr. Cat. And he's like, no. You guys don't want me here. He's like, no, you have to stay. He's like, okay, I'll stay. And he's like, but if I stay, you guys have to do something magical. I have to show you something that's magical and something that's full of wonder. And then he pulls out this gigantic contract. And then he has all these lawyers behind him. And he goes, this contract guarantees that you'll have fun and all this stuff. And then nothing bad will happen and no risk towards me. Right? Any of these things, right?
That's funny.
And then
liability contract.
And he gives the kid a pen. The kid's ready to sign. And then Sally's like, I don't want to sign. And he's like, oh, come on, Sally. And the little boy talks Sally into it. And then he's like, all right, well, initial here, not here. Here, scratch here, sniff here, and he's like, bam, and all right, let's have fun. Let's get this party started. And then he runs into the room that they're not supposed to go in, right? And the kids stop. And they're like, what? He's like, why'd you guys come in here? And he's like, oh, we're not supposed to be in that room. Mom says we can't go in there. We might mess up the couches by jumping on them. And he looks at the couches like, not these couches. Let's look under the hood. And all of a sudden he's like a redneck, right?
Right.
And then he opens up the hood of the couch cushion, like it's the trunk hood. And there's like an elephant in there. He fights an elephant.
I like how you're trying to convince me that this is happening.
He fights, nigga. That's what he does. He fights.
How big is this elephant?
Like a real elephant. And he's like, down, boy. He's like trying to fight.
Like it pops out of the cushion or it's in the cushion?
It's in the cushion. Like,
so
it's like a whole world. Yeah.
Or like you see the world in the cushion.
You see the trunk come out, assuming that there's this gigantic safari world in this motherfucking couch cushion.
Okay.
And so he's doing all this shit, right? And then he does that, and then he goes under the couch cushion and he fixes it more, and he's like, oh, that ought to do it. And then he starts jumping back and forth, right? And the springs are crazy. He's like gliding and he's doing all this shit.
Right.
And then he goes, I could use some company, kids. And they're like, what about Mom's party? He's like, what about it? You guys signed a contract. Come on. And then the little boy goes and he does it. He's like, come on, Sally, you do it too. And she doesn't want to do it. And then the fish tries to convince her to not do it.
Yeah.
And then he plays all these flashbacks for her. He's like, let me play you some flashbacks. And it's just like all the flashbacks of the mom saying don't. And then like the mom might get fired. And then the guy goes, fired. It's like way too long, bro. Right? And then finally Sally goes, ah. And then she does it, right? And then she runs and then she starts jumping on the couch. And then right when she does, Alec Baldwin comes in. He's like, what in Judas Priest is going on in here?
The fuck are you doing in the house, Alec Baldwin? The fuck?
So they all jump off the couch and then the cat.
Weird ass pedophile neighbor.
Yeah, he jumps on the ceiling. Bro, watch this. And then they go, the little girl goes, oh, I was just telling Conrad, Mr. Larry, to get off the couch. And he goes, let me tell you something, Sally. Nobody likes a suck up. And then he goes into the kitchen and he steals a bunch of food and beer.
Wait, with the kids still home?
Yeah. Steals a bunch of food and beer.
Right.
Just grabs it all.
Right.
And he starts leaving out the house.
Right.
And then he goes, and he starts sneezing crazy because the cat starts shedding.
Right.
Right? And like jumping around behind him. And he's like, choo, 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 you kids are up to something. And he storms out, right? And then the cat was just like they're all like laughing at that guy. But he steals a bunch of shit.
Yeah, calling their mom?
They should definitely call their mom.
Right?
Definitely.
I mean, you shouldn't have been allowed in. What the fuck?
So he says, see, kids, you stick with me and everything's going to work out. And he goes, little known fact about...
What are you talking about? A pedophile just broke into your house and stole your food.
So the little girl goes, I want to make cupcakes now, right? And he goes, oh, yeah, baby. And then they go into the kitchen where now a cooking show is set up.
Okay.
Like a full-on cooking show, bro. And now
this is just full speed crazy.
Crazy. And it's going. Doesn't stop.
Yeah.
He has a blonde wig on.
Okay.
Right? And he's like doing this really funny impression, bro. It is funny. He's doing like this crazy and funny impression of like a lame cooking guy on a show, right? And then he brings out another cat who is doing like the fat bastard voice, like the get in my belly, like that voice, right? And he's the cook, and he's telling them how he invented this cupcake machine, the Cupcakeinator 2000, right? And
is it Mike Myers again in the cat?
They're all still Mike Myers.
Okay.
And but they're standing next to each other. He's like, and this thing can make cupcakes out of anything. And then it shows the crowd, the studio audience, and it's the kids and Mike Myers in the studio audience, right? Mm-hmm. And everybody goes, anything, 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 anything. And then the guy goes, anything. And then the cat goes, anything. And then the other cat with the blonde wig goes, anything, anything, anything. And then he grabs a knife and he goes, bro, that nigga said, he grabs a knife and then he goes, the nigga said, it's so funny, fuck.
And apparently not that funny.
I forget, no, I can't, because and then he says, he goes, I'll get you. He goes, let me tell you something. I'll get you, and I'll make it look like a bloody accident. Shut up. And then the guy in the blonde wig like gets nervous, right? And then he goes, he does like more bits, and he throws a carton of eggs in there. He's like, you throw hot dogs, a fire extinguisher, ketchup, and he's like, and now all you gotta do is place this machine in the oven. And he puts it in the oven, and then he starts doing these more bits, right? And then he accidentally cuts his tail off. Okay.
Yes.
Everybody freaks out, and then the little girl goes, Sally, because the cat in the studio audience is like. And then she's like, Mr. Cat, your tail. And he goes, and then he screams and goes, son of a, and then it like bleep, and it bleeps out, right? Beep for a long time. And then it comes back in, bro. This is the best joke in the movie. It's the cat, and he's talking to the kids. He's got all his lawyers behind him. And he's not doing his voice. The cat, it's Mike Myers' real talking voice.
Right.
Right. And he goes, right, he goes, look, I'm not saying that we have a case. I'm just saying, it's on camera. And then he looks up and he goes, not right now. Bro, best joke in the movie. And then he breaks back into like the Cat in the Hat voice. Like they completely break the fourth wall.
Oh, they act like, oh shit, it's a movie. It's back, it's a movie.
Like Mike Myers is suing these two kids. Great joke, dude. So the cat, they're like, the food, they go like, Mr. Cat, the cupcakes in the oven. And they go, oh, he forgets and he runs over and then the oven explodes, right? And this crazy purple goo explodes all over the house. Right. And then the fish sees it and he's like, oh my God. Right? You love the fish, bro. That's your guy.
Yes. I didn't mean to put my head down like that. Yay, fish.
So the fish goes, we got to clean up this mess right now.
God damn it, fish. You.
He goes, we have a contract, Mr. Cat. Right. And then the cat goes, well, I'll try to clean it up. And then she grabs him. She's like, you won't try. You'll do. And he's like, yes, ma'am, right? And then he goes, I'll be right back. And then he runs to the closet and he grabs the mom's dress that was for the night, like in the thing.
Oh, and wipes everything up with it.
Well, he starts wiping everything up with it. And then they go, I miss that's mom's dress, right? And they freak out. And he's like, what? He's like, that's mom's dress. You ruined mom's dress. And then he's like, oh, no. He goes, honey, it was ruined when she bought it. And like black music starts playing. I was dying, bro.
Yeah.
This is the stupidest movie I've ever heard in my life.
I've ever heard. I bet you it's even crazier to watch.
Wait till you watch it.
Yeah.
Reading it out loud again, I'm like, yo, this is crazy that they filmed all this.
Yeah, right? Like adults were behind this and we're like, it's good to go.
Adults were in this mostly.
That's a good point.
The cat says how he will take care of everything, right? He goes, and I know just the two guys to do it. And he runs out.
There we go.
Brings the big giant red box in the house. And he goes, in this box are two things. I'll show them to you. Two things, I call them thing one and thing two. They don't bite, they just want to have fun. So without further ado, let's meet thing two and thing one, right? They jump out the box and they're crazy as fuck, right? And they're jumping all over the house. And he goes, this is thing one and thing two. And then they goes, thing, and they shake hands, thing one, thing two, Sally, Conrad, thing one, two, three. And he was like,
and they're like little small things.
Yeah, the little small, and then and they go, like they talk really crazy.
Right.
And then he goes, thing two would like to bring up that just because his name is Thing 2, it doesn't make him feel inferior. And you can call him Thing 2, and it doesn't just because you call him Thing 2 doesn't mean he's a lesser person. But it also doesn't make him feel inferior. But if it does bother you, you can also call him Thing A. All right? And he goes, this is Thing 1. And Thing 1 goes, and he goes, Thing 1 just wants to let you guys know that he is Thing 1 for a reason. He doesn't care who knows it. Thing 1 looks at him. Never mind, that's the best joke in the movie.
Yeah, that is the best joke.
That doesn't make him feel bad, but if you want to, you can call him Thing A.
Yeah.
And then Thing 1 goes, Thing 1 says he's Thing 1 for a reason. Yo, that's so funny. He's Thing 1 for a reason, and everybody should just get used to it.
As if he's gonna break your skull or some shit if you don't like.
Also, that they're not talking to each other. They're like, "Oh, okay, motherfucker."
Yeah.
Thing A. Oh my God, that's funny. So he goes, so the Conrad tries to look more into the crate, and then he closes it, the cat, and he goes, hey, I'm not really a rules guy, but there's no opening in this crate. He goes, no looky, no touchy, and then he locks it, right? So he gives the things the dress, and he goes, things, get this purple off the dress. And the things, like, they get it all off the dress, but it goes all over the couch. Right. And they're like, what about the couch? And so he's like, things, clean the couch. And so the things clean the couch, but then the purple goes all over the house. Right. So the cat they get two nets and they're trying to catch the things because now they're just destroying the house. And the cat is just in the middle dancing in the house. And so it's just a montage of the things, destroying everything while the cat is just dancing his motherfucking ass off. Right. So right then, the cat goes, by the way, the things only do the opposite of what you tell them. And they're like, what? And they're like, oh. And then one of the things right then, it has the dog in his hand. They're like, Thing, one, don't throw the dog. I mean, do throw the dog. And the Thing's like, throw the dog. And he throws the dog. And like, no, don't catch the, And then like right then the dog goes out the window and just starts running down the street, right? And gets away. Right. So right then, you see the motherfucking
Alec Baldwin?
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. The motherfucking Alec Baldwin.
Oh, but during all the commotion, I forgot to mention this. Right. During all the commotion, the bad kid took the lock off the crate. Right? Okay. And it got and when he hit it, he hit it on the dog's collar. Okay? Right. This is right before the dog is thrown out the window. Okay. And right then, Mike Myers says, like, hey, where's the lock on this crate? Blah, blah, blah. The world's starting to leak out because you got to, like, he's telling him how, like, hey, like, during all this commotion, it's like, hey, there was a lock on this crate. Where is it? And he's like, I don't know. And then that's when the dog thing happens, all right? Right. So, right then the house is ruined and blah, blah, blah. So Sally and the Conrad are like yelling at the cat, like, yo, you got to clean the house, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, the house, he said, we got to find the dog. And he's like, find the dog. That's going to be nothing compared if we don't lock this crate up. He's like, because my world's going to start seeping into your world. It's going to be the mess of all messes. And the kids are like, oh no, they freak out, right?
Yeah, that's what you get for fucking taking away the lock. What are you doing?
He's a bad little kid.
You little dumbass kid.
So Sally goes,
I don't know. Even, I guess mischievous kids are mischievous kids, but I wouldn't fuck with the magical cat.
Yeah, the magical cat. He's a magical fucking cat.
Yeah, like I think there's a line you got to be like, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. So stupid. Sally's, there's only 4 hours to the party. So they argue back and forth on what to do, her and Conrad, right? Right. So right then, because he's saying we should go get the dog. She's saying we should call mom for help. And he goes, well, there is a third option. And they go, what is it? And he goes, it involves murder. And then they go, oh, really? And he goes, no, but you guys had options, and I felt bad. Yeah. And then they go, what? And he goes, well, what we know, we can. I have an idea for the time being. And then he puts Miss Kwan on top of the crate. Right. Okay. He's like, this will hold her for a little bit. So inside Alex's house, Alec Baldwin, he takes off his girdle, and his stomach pops out. And he's disgusting. And then he takes out his front teeth. And he's just like a really gross guy. And his house is gross. And he's just a slob. And he's eating, watching food. And then these repo men come in. And they take his TV. And they're like, you owe this, you owe that. And he's like, oh, come on, guys. That's my TV.
Yeah, you don't have a job.
Yep. And then as he looks out the house, he notices the dog over his fence, right? And then he calls Joan. He's like, Joan, the dog got out the house again. He was like, maybe this is, I'm going to go get the dog. And maybe this will be an opportunity for us to talk more about sending your son to boarding school. And then she's like, oh, I don't know. And then right then, the kids, they and the cat, they run up on the dog, and he's over this fence, right? So the cat says, I'll get over the fence and I'll go get him. And so he runs and it looks like he's about to jump, and he tries to jump, and then of course he's like barely over it.
Right.
So they start trying to lift him over.
Right,
And then
that's funny.
Yeah, and so they eventually throw him over, right? And then so they throw him over, and then they hop over the fence. The dog starts running. They run past a birthday party,
Right.
right? And then as they run past the birthday party, the little girl looks over and she goes, Denise? And she goes, that's my other friend. And that's my other friend. And these are all the friends that she was mean to earlier in the movie that she said, And she's like, why wouldn't they invite me to the party? And then Conrad goes, you can't worry about that now. And he grabs her, and they keep running. And then right then they go and they hide because all the kids come running outside. And they're like, Mr. Cat, hide. And he looks up, and then there's a cat hanging pinata. And he gets an idea.
Oh, and
So
they
he
just
hangs himself up as his
it.
pinata. And all the kids run out and they grab a bat, right? And he's sitting there pretending to be a pinata. And then they all have these plastic bats and they start beating him, right? And he's like, ooh, ah, ah, and he's taking all the punches. And then this one kid goes, I'll take care of it. And he grabs a wooden bat. And it's, you ever watch Even Stevens?
Yes.
It's Beans.
Really?
Him. Beans comes out, bro. And he starts going like this. And then he fucking swings and hits the cat right in the nuts. And right when he hitting the cat in the nuts, the cat goes, oh! And then the song, cause I'm easy, like easy like Sunday. That song plays. And he's in like a girl dress just swinging. Like he gets hit in the nuts and then like he drifts into that world. Right? And then he comes back screaming, and then the kid goes, I got an idea, and he throws candy all over the ground, and all the kids go crazy.
Right.
So the cat gets down, and then he grabs the wooden bat, and he's about to bash the
Bean.
kids, and then they grab him, and they take him away.
No murder tonight.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, oh, God. Joan, right then, the mom, calls Miss Kwan. And Miss wakes her up. Miss Kwan goes, hello? And then she's like, how are the children, Miss Kwan? And she goes, oh, they aren't children. They are angels. And it's thing one and thing two, and they're pretending to be like the kids.
Right.
You know what I mean? And she goes, all right, well, I'll be home soon. Bye, Miss Kwan. And she's like, okay, bye. And then Miss Kwan falls back asleep. And then the things start playing with her like a puppet. You know what I mean? So they keep searching for the dog because they still haven't found it. And Sally is tripping about the party.
Right.
And then the cat tells her, you're a lone wolf. You're going to live alone. You're going to die alone. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean?
Ooh. So that's a good thing to tell a little girl.
Funny.
I mean, it is funny, but the psychological damage his cat is inflicting.
Right when they see the dog, Alec Baldwin snags it right before they do, and he laughs all evilly, right? And then they're like, dang, now we'll never be able to shut the crate. And then so the Alec Baldwin guy, he hops in his car and he starts driving to the mom, right?
Right.
And then he goes, the cat goes, well, let's take my car. And they go, you have a car? He goes, sure.
He has a crazy ass car.
And he pulls out a Hummer 2, right? It's his Hummer 2, like the H2.
Yeah.
And then they're like, whoa. And he's like, that's just the cover. And then he pulls off the cover of the Hummer 2, and it's it's like a Dr. Seuss car.
Yeah.
Like this ugly, crazy, ridiculous, like,
It doesn't make no sense.
Doesn't make any sense at all. You know? And so
Clunky.
And he he has a name for it, and the acronym is like the word slow. And he does all the checks for it, and then he's like, last check. And then he goes, and he does the thing, and then the car starts driving down the street, and then drives like a motherfucking bumper car.
Right. Just hitting
like
everything.
Just
and like
driving
jerky.
crazy,
Clunky.
right?
That's it.
Yeah, so the Alec Baldwin character singing how he's gonna send the Conrad kid to boarding school. He's singing about it.
Yeah.
Sending you to boarding school. Like
why do you care so much?
Dude, weird.
Pedophile.
They get on Alec's tail.
Yeah.
They and the cat the cat runs a red light, and then right then the fish is like, someone else should be driving. And then he goes, you're right, Conrad, you drive. And he slides the wheel over to Conrad, and Conrad's like, this is awesome. Right? And they speed up, and then the little girl goes, I want to drive. And he goes, all right. And then he pulls out another wheel and hands it to her.
Yeah.
And he goes, should there be 2 wheels? And he's like, you're right, maybe 3 wheels. And then now he's driving, and so they start spinning out of control. And then right then, they just wreck into a bunch of shit. And then like a parachute kind of make sure they don't hit anything. And then they just kind of they're just in their seats, right?
Right.
Okay. So right then they get in, now that they run into the city.
Right.
And they almost they're in the city now when they get into this wreck, right?
Right.
And then they see Alec Baldwin, and he's going in the mom's office, and they're like, we gotta stop him. And then he gets a ticket, luckily, so that slows him down, Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
And then the cat goes, I got an idea. And then he becomes like a dreaded hippie. And he goes up to Alec Baldwin, and he's like, excuse me, sir, will you sign my petition, bro? And then Alec Baldwin's like, get out of my face. And like, come on, bro, you don't want to help the cause for the people, man? And he's like, what will it take for you to get out of my face? He's like, just sign this petition with this really big pen that takes 2 hands to hold. He's like, fine. And he grabs this gigantic pen, and he's signing his name like this. And then the cat steals a dog, and they take off running.
Right.
Right?
That's funny.
Yeah, it's simple stuff.
That's right down the middle, I guess. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't really know if there's a middle in this movie.
And so he's like, get back here. I'm on to you, kids. Because he sees the kids. And so they go into
Oh, was it the giant cat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
I'm
go
on
into
to
a
you.
phone booth and they drops down into this crazy nightclub. Like something out of Blade.
Okay. And people are like on ecstasy.
Yeah, oh, clearly.
Yeah.
And everybody's like doing this and shit. Everybody's wearing like weird outfits and all the colors. It's just everybody's like clearly on ecstasy.
Right.
And they bump into Paris Hilton. And the cat, dude, another cameo. And the cat starts dancing with Paris Hilton, right?
Man. This is really tells you what time this movie was made.
Oh, 05, baby.
Yeah.
So Baldwin comes down to the party. And he's like running through the party now. And then they get into a kind of a scuffle at the club. And the cat loses its hat. And he's like, oh, my hat, right? And then he gets it. And then Baldwin gets so they get out like on the other side of the club. And they get out. And they get the dog and they get the lock. And then the cat says how when he's checking his hat, he's like, oh, no, I picked the wrong hat up at the club. This isn't my magical hat. You know what I mean? And then right then they see Alec Baldwin. And then he goes and he gets Joan out of her job. He's like, your kids have been up to something. I'm going to take you home. I'm going to show you, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, no, what are we going to do, right? And then right then the little kid gets an idea. He's like, I know what to do. And then he goes, the things do not show up and help us get home right now. And then right then the things shall go, and they pull up in the Larry guy's car, right?
Right.
And then the race is on, right? And so that's what the narrator says. And so back at home, he's like, but back at home, things are just getting worse. And then they show the crate is spilling out all into the house, like all the magical weird ooze and shit, you know? So he goes, hey, things, as they're driving. He's like, do not do anything to slow my mom down. And then the things jump out the car, and they're like, slow down, mom. And then they pretend to be a cops, like on a motorcycle, and the things are like talking to the mom. They're like, what? You know? Yeah. And then right then the Alec Baldwin, he sees he's like, oh, that's my car. He's like, oh, and he notices, and then he hops out the car and he steals the thing's motorcycle.
Right.
And then now he's chasing. He's like, I'll see you at the house to Joan. So the mom is just not noticing what's going on. She's just trying to talk to these things that are clearly
what the fuck?
not cops.
Yeah. She should get herself out of this situation. This is bad. This is how carjackings happen.
Dude. So the kids are running in, and then the Alec Baldwin character goes, you're so busted. And he grabs them right and says, get inside this house. And then they walk in, and the house is completely spotless. It's completely clean. And then he goes, what is going on in here? And then he starts sneezing. And he goes, why am I sneezing? And then then the cat goes, that would be me. And then he turns him around. And Alec Baldwin goes, ah! And then he starts backpedaling. And then he falls through like a painting of what would be like a clean house into like this magical land. And then he like falls forever, into like this ooze shit. You know what I mean? And then the cat.
Yeah. That's a little bit dark of an ending that I wanted for Alex. I'm not going to lie. I didn't like him, but like, man, I didn't want him to fall for eternity.
Right? So the kids are like, oh my God, Mr. Cat, what are we going to do? He's like, well, at least everyone's going to remember this party tonight forever. And they're like, oh no. Well, what about the crate? And he's like, well, there's only one way to get to the crate. And then Miss Kwan like comes down this like little river thing. And they're like, we're going to ride Miss Kwan. He's like, that's the only way to the crate. So they jump on Miss Kwan, bro, and they start riding her down like a river raft.
And she's still asleep.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
So her character is just asleep the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
That's a dope character. That's a easy job.
Yo, easy, big check, I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, this is, look at how many stars are in this.
Dude.
Paris Hilton?
So they pass all the rooms in the house, and everything's like a weird room now. Like the toilet's like spraying fire and all this crazy shit, right? So they find the crate finally, and there's a tornado coming out of it. And then he's like, get the lock. And they come on, let's go. And then it's him and Sally, and they try to close it. And they're like, I won't shut. And they're doing everything they can, and everything is disappearing into the tornado.
Right.
Like all the shit in the house. And then Sally gets sucked into it, and then he grabs her. And he's like, hold on. And he's like, I can't reach the lock while holding you, Sally. And he's like, and they're screaming. And then she's like, don't let go. And he's like, I can't. It's like, the only way to save you is you got to let go. And she's like, okay. And then she lets go, and then he locks it, and like, it's like the tornado stops, and then she falls, and he catches her, right? Saves her. And then everything in the house is completely falls apart. Like the whole house, the interior house, just like the stairs, everything like collapses. Right? And then Alec Baldwin is pooped out the side of the house.
Okay.
So he doesn't die. He's just pooped out the side of the house.
Thank God.
Like purple ooze.
Oh, that's way better than falling for eternity. I was like having a panic attack about it. That's awful. Oh my God.
Yeah, because then you just age yourself to death or starve to death while falling. That's great.
I mean, you had to fall for like a month.
But that's what it is. Yeah, you just imagine yourself falling for a month, and then you die starving to death.
At what point
you get used to
falling?
Probably like the 4th, 5th day.
And it just doesn't even feel like falling anymore?
And you're just
Like that sort of pit in the bottom of your stomach is gone.
you're just hoping for it to land probably at a certain point.
All right.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to take it there mentally, but I was in a bad place.
Going there.
Yeah.
So the cat, the kids are like, and the cat comes over and he's like, I did it. And the kids look at him all pissed, and he's like, okay, we did it. And then they start going off on the cat, right? And the cat does another joke and blah blah blah, and then they see that he has like a magical hat again, and they're like, hey, you said your hat wasn't magic anymore. And he's like, well, it's been magic this whole time. And he's like, what do you mean this whole time? He's like, well, I planned the whole day. And they're like, you planned the whole day? And then they say all the things that happened the day. He's like, yeah, I planned that. Like, cutting your tail off? And he's like, no, I did not plan that. And then he goes, well, you're going to need to, they're like, well, Cat, you need to get out of here, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, get out of here. I don't know that game. Tell me how to play that game. And he's like, none of this is a game anymore, Cat. You don't know when enough is enough. Go home. Get out. And then he leaves with like sad music playing. He walks out the house and the cat doesn't know what to do.
Right.
And they're like, slam the door, and the fish yells, good riddance. And then they're like, I'll get a mop and a bucket, right? And then the little girl goes, Conrad, you should leave until Mom calms down. When she sees it, she's going to go crazy. He's like, but this is all my fault. I'll take the blame. And he's like, you should go upstairs. And she's like, I'm not going upstairs. And he's like, really? Why? She's like, 2 reasons. There are no stairs. And like the stairs collapse even more behind her.
Right.
And she's like, the second reason, this is just much my fault as it is yours. And she's like, you're a good big brother. And she's like, thanks. And then right then they hold hands and the door opens and they're like, well, here it goes.
And it's the
cat, he busts in and he's on a weird driving cleaning car. And he's like, bet you thought I'd gone. Bet you thought I'd never leave. And they're like, what are you doing here? He's like, well, the contract says that if you guys open up the crate, that I will no longer have to help you. And they're like, oh. He's like, but the contract also says if you learn your lessons, I will help you again. And they're like, yeah. And then they start cleaning up, right? And so a montage of them starts playing. And then that song starts playing, things that get better all the time. Things that get better.
Don't know that song.
Better. When you'll be mine. It's like one of those kind of pop songs.
Okay,
It's just a pop song like that.
I wish they would have played Keep Your Head Up, but that's what my first thought. That'd be so funny if they just played some Tupac.
That would have been great.
That would have been great.
So they clean, he's doing like, oh yeah. He's like doing all this shit as they clean and everything. Mm-hmm. So right then the mom pulls up on the house. He cleans her dress. He cleans the dog. The things go back in the crate. Mm-hmm. And he goes, okay, we had some good times. We even managed to work an up-tempo song into that last scene. He said that, which is funny.
They really did.
He goes, but one last thing to check off. And he does the phonometer on him again. And then it says that they're both like good kids. And then they go, this day has been amazing. Thank you, Mr. Cat. And then he hugs the sister. And he goes, he hugs Conrad and they go, for everything. And Conrad and Sally, I bid you adieu, And the mom comes in the front door as the cat sneaks out the back. And they're like, no, Mr. Cat. They want him to come back, but and he runs off.
Right.
And then right then as the mom comes in, she's like, this place better not be a mess. And it's completely spotless. And then right then, Alec Baldwin, the Lord, he comes in, he's covered in purple goo, and he's like, look what they did. Look, this place is, what? And he's like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And then they're like, what happened to you, Mr. Lawrence? And then he's like covered in poo. He's like, you're demonic kids, blah, blah, blah. They did this, they did that. They had a big, gigantic cat with them. He's like, I fell off a cliff. Everything was made out of purple goo, And then she's like, and then one of the little kids is like, you're insane, Mr. Lawrence.
You're possibly a pedophile still.
That'd have been really funny. Like, you're a pedophile, possibly.
Yeah.
And then he goes, Joan, you know what kind of kid your boy is. Who you going to believe, me or him? And then she looks at him. She goes, Conrad is a good kid.
Yeah, my fucking kid over you.
I believe in him, you thief.
Yeah. Pedophile. I'm going to hammer in the point in.
I don't like that he stole hot dogs.
Yeah.
So Baldwin cries over her and he's like, marry me, Joan. Please, come on, marry me.
Oh, well, Jesus. Way to not be attractive.
Yeah, Sally slams the door on him. And her and Conrad celebrate. Mm-hmm. And then Miss Carn wakes up and she goes, that's nice. And then she falls back asleep. And then the party, now it cuts to the party is happening, right?
Right.
And the boss is happy and he says how he loves the clean house and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, honey, your cupcakes, he's talking to Sally, honey, your cupcakes are a huge hit. And she's like, what did you put in them? And he's like, well, you can make cupcakes out of anything, Mom. And then the mom's like, anything? And the son's like, anything. And the mom's like, anything?
Oh,
and everybody just goes, anything. And this happens way too long.
Yeah. It's like a Jeffrey Burner joke.
Definitely.
It's like a witchcraft.
Yeah. And then he goes, well, what did you, and the mom goes, what did you kids do all day? And then they all smile. And then the next scene, they're all jumping on the couch, right? And then the narrator talks as the camera pans out, and he talks about how cool the cat is and how attractive the cat is. And then you keep panning out, and then it's the cat,
yeah.
right? And he goes, he's really sexy, but in a real way, in an approachable way. And he looks at him and he's like, oh, hello. And he's like, oh, how'd they get so smart, right? And he starts dancing his weird dance again. And he starts walking down the street, and the things are doing backflips and cartwheels next to him. And he's like, what do you say, things? How about a vacation? Hawaii? Oh, you things are so complicated. And then the music plays, credits roll. Cat in the motherfucking hat, son.
Yes. Sure. Just sure.
Beaters, we really appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, and I'm sure this one's just gonna be fun.
Oh, dude. I hope you guys had fun. We had a lot of
I hope
fun.
you guys kept up, because I didn't some places.
A lot of stuff
what
was
the
going on.
Fuck. A lot of stuff's going on, but nothing
at all.
happened. What the fuck
A
was
lot of
going
going on and nothing happening.
Who the fuck wrote this? Who the fuck wrote this? Well, that's what I'm gonna figure out.
Yep.
All right. Later, guys.
We'll see you guys next week.
Hey.